Hey, everybody, Mntdewmania here. Welcome back to Building with me. Um, I'm back with some new blocks displayed and some revelations about what I'm displaying. Um, I've been thinking a lot about building lately, simply because I've started my new series, Hillbilly Island Forever. This is my forever home. Even if we update, there'll be no more changes to Hillbilly Island. It's forever now. And one of my big goals is I really want to build out of my comfort zone. And if you're like me, your comfort zone is a square of something. Um, but I really got to thinking, why do you build in squares? Obviously, your first answer is going to be because Minecraft is square. Everything's square, right? I don't think that's the reason. At least I don't think that's my reason. I think that my reason, I don't know about anybody else's, just my pondering, I think it has to do with time. Because when you start a Minecraft world, no matter what it is, you only have so much time. And I don't mean like, day cycles or anything like that. I mean, you've only got so much, and especially if you're a YouTuber or a streamer, and you have things that you want to get done. You want to entertain your subscribers, your audience. Um, so you have to make do with the time you have. Let's say you stream for an hour. So in that hour, you can't be wasting time building, you know what I'm saying, or creating something besides the most basic thing that's going to keep you covered so you can continue your series, right? So I think that has some part to do with it. So if I build a square house, four walls, and I put a door in it, I have somewhere to start from. I have a base, it's secure. So and I'll tell myself and my audience, well, I'll get around to it. I'll make something really cool. But first we need to get supplies, and we need to get armored up, and we need to get some iron to get weapons, and so and those things are fun because they're adventurous, and y'all can get in crazy fights, and people like to watch that. Who wants to watch somebody building a square unless you are a super talented builder like BOO or Grin or Scar or somebody, Impulse? I mean, you want to watch these people build, right? Because they're really good at it, and it's going to be incredible, and you're going to learn something really cool. So for the majority of Minecraft players, they build a square, and or they dig into a hole in the side of a mountain, and they somewhat put some cool stuff up. But that's not the goal of the game they're playing. Okay, so I think that is the majority of the reason that people don't really get into building. Um, it's time consuming to think about all the blocks in Minecraft. You can see I finished laying out what I consider blocks to build with. This was the hardest, and I don't even know, for honesty, if I got the patterns right. But when you start looking at all of the things in Minecraft you can build with, wow. And I mean, 1.21, they're already showing snapshots, and copper is going to be insane. I'm already in love with that grate. That looked really cool. And Tough is coming out with its own, what, 16 different more blocks or something? And the Tough, what, the bricks or something? Wow, those look really good. I'll link Captain Sparkles where he shows them off. I usually watch him for my Minecraft updates. But there's going to be some really cool blocks coming in 1.21. So, Another thing that I have found is the color palette. What goes with what? Well, in order to know that, you kind of have to have a favorite block that you like to build with, that's your go-to. I guess the most common one is the oak, simply because that seems to be the wood that everybody goes to. Um, I'm not saying that it's the best wood. I'm just saying that's the one. Usually, when you go into a world, and I mean, unless you are in a birch forest, and even in a birch forest, you might find a oak or two. For some reason, people don't like birch. Birch is one of my favorite, if not my favorite wood. I simply, I mean, this is to me is just this is the mediocre wood. Um, Spruce is okay. I'm not a big fan of acacia. I do like the gray log though. I like that because because I go by my favorite colors, right? My favorite colors are black and white and gray. Um, I'm not a big fan of dark oak, but jungle is not, I haven't really worked with mangrove to get used to it yet. Honestly, I am just not a pink person. Um, it's pretty, and if you are very, if you are, I don't even know how to say it without being offensive. I'm just not a cute, pink, fluffy person. And that's how I think of pink. It's just not my color. I don't like it. Not that I hate it or anything. It's just it's not on my radar. But I like the doors. I like the flowers, but I'm just not. I just would never consider building with cherry. It's just it doesn't do it for me. I'm recently getting into bamboo because that is what I want to build my first bills out of on Hillbilly Island. So I've really kind of been studying these, and I have found that I kind of like the mosaic tiles. They give an interesting thatched look to a roof. So I found that interesting. I like the trapdoors. I think that's very intricate, and it looks like almost like woven wicker to me. So I find that interesting. I've had no reason at all to build with any of the nether stuff. I mean, it's pretty, but it's not my jam. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to I guess if you want to build, you have to know what you've got to build with. And then comes the really hard part of, well, do I stick with just, vanilla textures, or do I put in a resource pack, which can totally change every color in here? So I tend to, and I've got friends like Tall Turtle who has made a texture pack. I think I linked him last time, and I also linked Emerald Onyx because she uses his texture pack, and she builds. She loves to build. So the texture packs and resource packs can change. Even data. I think they're like data packs that change textures and stuff. It almost looks like 3D. So you can tweak your game. Of course, everybody knows this, but I don't really like to do that because I want, on average, most people don't bother doing stuff like that. They might do it for a certain series, or they might, if you join a server, some servers want you to use a certain texture pack, but I really, that I really don't like because you're forcing people to see things the way you want it, not necessarily enjoy it the way they like it, you know? So that's what I'm trying to get used to now, is I've never really considered all of the colors in Minecraft. And I'm not talking the 16 basic colors. I'm talking the shades that everything comes in. Um, and it's kind of, it's overwhelming, really, the different shades that you have in Minecraft. Um, Let me go ahead and make it day, and then I'll be right back. Okay, nice and bright and day again. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I've really been thinking about is I tend to stick to certain blocks because I like them and I'm comfortable with them. Um, they make me feel like I'm home. So, what I need to do is learn to get out of my comfort zone. And my go to, if you have followed me for any amount of time, is I usually build in birch and I like stone brick. I find it very strong, medieval. That it's just it looks. I like it together. I don't know why. It just works for me. Okay. So what I have got to do now is learn to get out of my comfort zone first of all, and I don't know if I'm ready for like just wild colors, but colors can be, you know, they don't have to be crazy, but I also need to think about textures because even a little bit of texture can change the way something looks, you know? So that's what I need to explore first, I think. I want to look and think about blocks that I usually don't use and how they're going to look together. That's what I need to think about. So usually I don't even look at spruce. So how does spruce look? You know, is the one with the bark on it too dark? This is, I mean, this is a little bit closer, but it still has the texture, you know. So, I mean, let's look at spruce with my, now that is a big difference. So, I want to think about colors that just I usually wouldn't think about. And I want to think about patterns and textures. And the biggest one that kind of caught my attention this time was the mushroom, the large mushrooms. Now, there is no way, unless I found a red mushroom and turned it into a little witch hut, there's no way that I would ever build with mushroom stem or the brown mushroom. I wouldn't think of doing that. There's no reason that I would. But if you look at this, I mean, this looks like linoleum almost. And I had never noticed that before. I don't know why I hadn't noticed it. It just wasn't, there is no reason that I would notice that. So, my thing is, I've got to learn to think outside my box that I have built, you know. And I don't think I intentionally built it. I just think over the years of playing Minecraft, I found something that I was comfortable with and I stuck with it. So now I have got to get away from that and start mixing some textures and colors together and use blocks that I would never really use together. Like in Hillbilly Island, I'm using the jungle wood, which totally admit I am not really a fan of, but I'm trying to use it with the new bamboo to see if I can get comfortable with it. Um, Now, the mosaic as a wall, that's pretty loud to me. My OCDness does not like, I like uniformity, I like smoothness. That appeals to me. Something loud like this really doesn't. But then I started thinking, okay, Well, what is the difference between, let's say, my favorite wood, which is birch, and I always go to birch, versus something that I am not used to building with, but could I get used to building with it? And then I thought about, okay, well, this has this can go vertical or horizontal. And of course, regular planks can't do that. So I started thinking, what's the difference? And then I was like, oh, they line up. That satisfies my OCDness. They line up perfectly. The lines continue. I can live with this. But do they go, you know, some things just stand out. They just, blah, that does not even appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. So I've got to think about patterns. And since that's horrific. There's no reason ever that I would build with something like that, you know? So I've got to like start looking at patterns together and think about what really, really goes together, you know? And experiment and play and don't be afraid to try something that I would never try. That's another big reason I think people shy away from using certain blocks in Minecraft is because they just they're when you're having to go out and get resources, you think practically about, what you're going to need and what you're going to use. You really don't think about, okay, I'm going to harvest this because it's a certain color and it's going to good look in my build. You think about it, okay, I've got so much time and I need to make every minute count. So I need to, you know what I'm saying? That's where I think a lot of my stuff comes in because I am just a very, very, very average player. I don't do incredible, awesome things. I don't go on huge, great adventures. So it takes me a while to get things going, you know? I don't jump into caves. Um, I have to think and plan about stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, even like the new mud. Now, I love these mud bricks. I think this is it's mysterious and, mud huts means a long time ago. And is there a story there? That's the way I think. Um, but the packed mud, would you really think about making a wall out of that? And I thought to myself at first, well, no, it's kind of, I don't know. But then when I got to looking at it, I was like, that is kind of it's an interesting pattern. So I'm starting to see where I need to upgrade my palette, I guess is what I'm trying to say, rambling through all this. And to do that, maybe what you need to do is just make you a creative world and lay out all the colors so you can see them and do it without a resource pack. So it's essentially, you know, um, like, let's see, hopefully my recording won't stop when I do this. But like when I go into the resource packs, I've got this at the bottom. There's the default connected textures, the high contrast. I don't even know what that means. But I don't have any, I've got, of course, tall turtles, but I'm trying not to use a texture pack so I can really get the feel of textures and smooth and rough and stony looking and curvy looking and wavy looking. Like I never even noticed the bone. I didn't even realize the bone block lined up smoothly. I mean, I've never noticed kind of the wavy lines in the mushroom. I've never noticed almost the pebbled look with the brown mushroom. And I'm thinking to myself, what is the difference between this? When you make pathways, you do the stone and you do You might make a pathway and you do a little bit of gravel. And I'm thinking, why would you not use this? That is a really good, because I've never stopped to consider a mushroom as a viable building block. I've just never thought about it. So that was the first thing I kind of discovered about myself. I have limited myself to certain blocks that I like and I'm comfortable with, and just simply haven't gone past that comfort zone. So that is the first thing that I'm going to have to get over, is working with blocks that I usually don't use. So, the next time you build something in Minecraft, try to take just a little bit of time and look for some blocks that you usually don't use and try to incorporate them into a build. And that's going to be one of my new aims in Hillbilly Island Forever. I want to use different blocks. So I'm working now, playing around with the bamboo, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to integrate some of the mud blocks soon. So that's going to be my first test for myself. All right. So I hope you guys are enjoying my self discovery in building, and let me know what your favorite building block is. So I guess I will see you next time. This is Mntdewmania, and this is Building with Me, learning the palette of Minecraft. And I'm so out of here. Bye, guys.